this is Silent King, back again with another video on my Ranger. Been asked several times about a different type of playstyle for the Warden. A lot of people run them one particular way, so I'm just going to kind of highlight this, go over the general play, how to put it on there, the feats, the powers, etc., etc. So let's just hop right in there. So this is my setup. I'll just kind of scroll through them pretty quick here. Just run the combat advantage, the damage shirt, the crit strike arms, the celestial MSH weapons, the celestial damage boots. We are running the combat advantage pants, the damage shirt, the Shroomwood sash, the Shroomwood amulet, the Ring of Initiative, and the Ring of Wrath. I went with these two rings real quick because they're a little bit easier to move around to my other tunes. I don't see a big point to farm all that dust and have multiple the same for a little while. So you could run one of the other rings. This one right here, the Arcane, this one you could fit into your build pretty easy as well. I've statted on both. Also, I do run a Wood Elf, so I'm not standard. A lot of people run gifts. I don't run a gift. I do run the Night Flame Sensor, the Crimson Calamity, the Sealing Parchment, and the Demon Skull. That's kind of like what my stats look like just sitting here. My power is a little over. That's just proc from my boon, so that's a little high right now, but it's a little bit lower whenever it's not proc, say 95 right there. So stats look pretty good. My enchantments are this. So I got the Rubelite, I got 3 of the Garnets, and in my utility I run a Garnet. Then I run the Fire Agate, the Aquamarine, the Amethyst, and the Jade. Just to make sure these all are for my rings, so that's just statted out. Running the Swift Energy, I run a Rage of Flames and a Devil's Precision. Running my movement, that kind of takes care of that. This is my main thing, the power setup. So my power setup, I run Rapid Shot. This is my main. Electric Shot is always secondary, so I always run that. I run Thorn Ward, Binding Arrow, and Constricting Arrow. So these are set up for Xbox. This is what I run in my second spot. I run this in my B and this in my Y. I have a little bit different rotation, so we'll go over that in a minute, and you can set it up however you need to. Call the Storm, Forest Ghost, run those as my main dailies. Hadn't really changed a lot since the last time I posted. Seeker's Vengeance, I still run that, and I still run Aspect of the Pack. So this, like I said, this is slightly different. This is for more of a stance switch build, and it does quite a bit of damage. I have posted other videos on this. The main thing that's going to change is the rotation has changed slightly. I had a lot of time to work on it and make it better, so I just want to make sure I posted it and get it out to you guys. So we are going to run Death Strike. So whenever we switch, we get the extra 30%. We run Swiftness of the Fox. If you notice, it gives us cooldowns, but it also gives us 5% more damage to our powers. Then we run Blade Hurricane, which gives me the extra damage on the melee flurry for 3 seconds. So anytime I use a melee power or a range power, I get double damage for it. So whenever you use that with Rapid Shot, it's pretty OP. So you're talking about double damage on that 90 magnitude that comes out, and you get about 3 of those out per minute. So it's got a lot of damage going out. I do run Skirmisher's Bandit for the 10% crit sev because it's just easier to take the stats. I'd rather have the stats. I don't use Throw Caution in this build, so yeah, we're not gonna run that. You can run Storm Conduit. I have ran them both for this build. I don't really, they're about the same amount of damage. You'll get a little more burst whenever you run Storm Conduit if you have like big artifact calls and like trials and stuff. But if you're just running like normal dungeon stuff, this Blade Hurricane is usually the most versatile. I do run Nature's Envoy as well. which is to give me the extra 15% more damage. So pretty no-brainer about what's going on in here. Not a lot has changed, like I said, from my first video, but I did want to kind of highlight over these again. This is what I run in the dungeon. So whenever I'm in MJOT, Jotunskar, I run this, which is a little bit different. So I use electric shot a lot more, and then I run these two, which I use this more in the AoE. So I use Thorn Ward, Constricting, and Hindering Shot. All the powers down below are all the same. The only thing I'm really changing out is these two powers, the Constricting and Hindering. So whenever you want to run it, you just set it up exactly the same way as your other with Seekers and Aspect. This one you can pretty much, you want to run in like a little more AoE situation. So like the first boss, this one works a whole lot better with, because it's very versatile. You can still run this other one if you have a really melty group and you're just really banging out the damage, because the burst off of the binding arrow is a lot higher. But if you're just running, you know, your average groups and stuff like that, and you're running with the AoE, this is probably going to be what you want to run the most. You can fight the giants, you can do all your stuff with just these three powers right here. And if you don't want to run this, and if you just want to run this secondary as strictly AoE, just switch your Thorn Ward to Cordon of Arrows, and then whenever you want to switch to the dungeon, you can just swap them real quick. Really, no, it's a no-brainer. I made this one kind of convenient where you could run it, so you could just run one build through the whole dungeon if you wanted to. So, okay. My boons, pretty standard stuff. Power, all the offensive ones. You can see all the offense. Come over here. I run the damage percentage ones. I don't run the Dino one because I think that one's kind of useless. The necrotic, still run that. Then I run this one. This one's like better than like all this down here. Like the power stats, because it actually gives you more power than both that. But because this is only giving you 0.2, so you're getting 1%. So this is actually with 4%, you're getting 2% more power. So that's nice, and then it gives you a little bit of extra accuracy. I use action point gain and recharge speed. Those are the two main ones we use. Outgoing healing, stamina regen, incoming healing, and the control bonus are really not super helpful. I don't use Deathly Rage with this build. You can use this if you really want to for AoE. I do have an AoE loadout, and I do use it in AoE. But outside of that, unless you're just hitting AoE targets, it's really useless. Bloodlust. This one and Life Lessons are the two ones I would go for first, because they give the additional damage. And then I start looking at what else can I do. So then I look at Blessed Advantage because it has the extra power and recharge speed, which is nice. And you get that whenever you're getting the heals. Same with this one, whenever you're getting healed, you get the extra hit points and the extra stamina. And then I'd run the enhanced application. So these two first, then this one is in third, and then one of these two. I prefer this one first, but you know, it's whatever. I have a lot of boons to spend, so yeah, whatever, however you want to set it up. My stronghold, I run the critical strike one here, just the defense bonus, revive sickness, and you know, whatever PvP. No big deal there. Let's see. Then we'll go to companion. Active companion, I like to run whatever is open. This is what I'm running currently. Need to upgrade a couple of these, so still haven't upgraded them on. Still working on that. I do run this Combat Advantage one for a lot of stuff a lot of content that I do, unless I'm set up with a group that has a lot of buffs. If we're all running buffs, I'll switch this out for whatever we need. Armor break, dulling sense, whatever. So we just switch to whatever it is. Now, if I do switch that out, I will switch out this for my Devil's Precision, or not Devil's Precision, but I will switch out my Rage for my Sword Coast Tactician. because of the power and combat advantage. So we went a little bit extra combat advantage and power. Power is pretty much max with this build, but the extra combat advantage just to kind of help balance the stats. You don't even have to change it; it works fine without it. So you can just leave it and just run one of the others, like Armor Break or something. So pretty versatile. You can. This is my standard stuff. Running damage comps. So Bateri, the bigger they are, Neverwinter Night, Raptor's Instinct. And then I run the Cold Light Walker's Gaze. And you can switch these out. They're not like permanently. So if you're not running a Wood Elf and you're running a Gith or something else, you may be statted slightly different. Also, you can switch these out. So I made this build a little bit different. So you can get rid of the Shroomwood altogether because I am actually overstatted on accuracy with this build. But I like the recharge is the biggest reason I run this is because I want the recharge speed. The ring itself right here is going to give you the 10.5%. So, but because of that, you're pretty much already, you can see you're going to be already statted even without the Shroomwood. So your Shroomwood, like if you're running a group that's running all the debuffs like they should, you can switch out, put the Merilith on, and run that while one of the other people is running the Apocalypse or in the Vistani set. So you can actually have an extra set on. It's set up to be able to run whatever you need for the group. Like group synergy is a big deal, so yeah, make sure you can support with your group, be able to run the right items. So this build is very versatile and been able to just switch stuff out on the fly without really hurting your stats. Let's get over here to when I'm running. I run Infernal Pounce. That one hits pretty hard. It's pretty much a no-brainer for any type of melee. I do run Providence. I've switched it out with Ferocity. I don't really see a big difference between the two. You can run this as a stat if you're really short on stats too. So just depends where you're at in your build. This is where I run. Still don't have this last collar upgraded. Really don't care. But I do run an Artificer's enhancement. I do run Cavalry's, a Gladiator's Guile, and 2 Tactician's Precision. And there's all the different mounts. So I've been riding the Lizard, the Zodar, the Demon Wings, the Beast of Fire Archon, and the Neverwinter Hand. Which these are, you can get them on several different things, so it's not like it's set in stone or anything like that. So, anyways, this is the main part of my build that I actually run all the time. My pots, I usually run Flask of Potency, I run Sun Lords, and I run Squash Soup. Those are my main 3. Depending on the power, sometimes I run Prime Rib and sometimes I run Honey Bread, mainly because I'm over capped on power. But if someone's running like what is it, Pack Tactics or something like that, instead of having that, you know, I'll switch to my power over just to make sure I've got my power. Needs a little tweaking to my power, but it's pretty much set right there. It's like, so whenever I'm set up, that's kind of whatever I get. Alright, so next up we're going to go over the rotation. I'm going to go ahead and post that right now, what the rotation should be. So yeah. Back. I'm going to go ahead and show you what the rotation looks like and full speed. Let's get our AP all maxed out, yeah. Alright. Yeah, with a few rapid shots. Now let's go ahead and hit that rotation, slide in, hit it. And you can see you're just going to hit that and it's just going to keep banging out. It's got a big burst to it, so you'll see like your powers here. So as you're coming down through your powers, you're going to see that wherever you're hitting them, they take a little bit to come back, so you just wait to build them back up. Also, this one right here, your electric shot, it's really nice to build your AP up. If you see, it's got a really nice AP gain on it. So in between, if you're a little short and you don't have your Force Ghost quite up, it's a really nice thing to just kind of rebuild yourself back up, you know. Couple tips too in between the rotation. Let's say I'm just hitting here and I go in here and I blow my load before I get everything off. Okay, so we have an Artificer, so that's going to help with the cooldown immediately. You can see that. Come over here, hit your other rotation on your other side, switch back, hit it again with Force Ghost, and then you can come back and just nibble it down. So there's a bunch of different ways to kind of skim this thing. It's very versatile and very friendly to users. So, like, you can run it different ways. You just got to remember that you got to switch stances. So a lot of your bang per buck comes right here. When I use the melee power, it causes my next range power to do damage. So you kind of want to line that up with your binding arrow. If you line these up really nice with your binding arrow and your constricting arrow, you're going to be able to do a ton of damage. And if you get out of whack on your rotation, especially when you first start doing this, because it takes a little bit of practice to kind of get used to these newer rotations, you just want to kind of pay attention to where you're at. If you watch the numbers, so you see right over there in my mount, and if I'm using like an artifact or something like that, whenever I use my artifact, it'll have a set of numbers there. So you can kind of watch that. So whenever you're doing your switching stances, you can always go drop that, hit a couple powers, and then just glance at it, and you can see where you're at in the rotation. Like, oh, I'm really close. Usually the mount works the best though, because you're going to be right up close to it, so you're going to be able to see like just the mass amount of it, and you can see it's really easy to do damage, and I'm not even really trying to keep my rotation. So this thing just has lots of burst, because whenever you hit both the mount and the binding, you can hit them almost like at the same time. One of the things I found out real close to this when I was using the rotation is you're going to end up like 1 second off. So that 1 second off, whenever you switch on that last part of the rotation, you're going to see that your binding arrow is not quite up. So what you can do though is you can hit your owlbear and your mount, and when you do that, it's instantly going to have the other one up. And while the mount's coming out, you can actually hit your binding arrow and then already switch in the stance to get the other two melee off. So it's a very quick part of rotation, but it's just a little tip to kind of help you along. Anyways, like, hope you enjoy this build. It's a lot of fun to play, you know. Does keep up with them. It's got a lot of high-end damage, so don't think that it's not keeping up with all the other builds, because it absolutely will. But good luck out there, and hope to see you banging away in the dungeons in Neverwinter.